I'm sure a lot of people remember 1997. It was not long ago. Now, Sony Music, their digital revenues make 55% of their global revenue, and of course that's increasing every year. Things have changed really very quickly. And so that is what that's what we're going to be focusing on tonight, which is a future trend, how things change, the nature of change, because what's going to happen when broadband is rolled out into the Highlands, which I understand is coming, I've been assured, things are going to change. They are going, because the world is already changing as a result of the internet and digital and the way that we discover and share and comment and like. Things are going to change. So we're just going to have a look at how things change. I came up to XpoNorth in June. I hired a car. I went up to John O'Groats. You may recognize this. It was a spectacular scene. We all know that change is constant, but it happens over time. And something very strange about change, it can almost be imperceptible at the time. We know it's happening. We know that change can have huge effects. But at the time, it can be very hard to see what those effects are, and even harder to see how they're going to manifest themselves. This is a guy who knows one or two things about technology, and I think he sums it up very well. We overestimate the amount of change in 1 year. We underestimate the amount in 10. I know this to be true. When I was at Sony, I joined 1997, remember the year, and I thought the whole world was going to change. Within a couple of years, everyone would be listening to digital music. I got it. Why doesn't everyone else? Come on, it's only a matter of time. And yet, 1997, 17 years ago, 17 years it's taken to get to the tipping point where 50% of people, 50% of their revenues are now digital. 17 years. It seemed to take forever. And yet, that change has now arrived. I had to check the iPhone. 2007? Is there any, as anyone who has got an iPhone right now, can you imagine life before the iPhone? Can you believe that there was a time before iPhone? It's like, and yet it was only 8 years ago. It has moved that quickly. YouTube, there we go, look. Fluffy kitten is confused. I knew it wouldn't take long before we got the first cat on the internet. 2006, YouTube was around, and in that time, we all know the incredible effect that YouTube has had. Facebook, 2006. Spotify, which is changing the way that millions of people discover, share, listen to music. 2008. So we can see that time, although these things, Facebook seems to have been around for a long time now, and a lot of us are bored and cynical, and I hate Facebook, it's actually very, very new. It has now got over 1 billion users in those 8 years. Change is difficult to predict. It's all very well me saying, well, of course Facebook was going to happen, of course YouTube, any idiot could see that YouTube was going to be popular. Actually, at the time, there was no guarantee that YouTube would have been what it was. There was a number of different competing video sites. There were a number of competing social networks. These sites are the winners. If I could have predicted these sites would have been the winners, then I could have invested in them. I'd be on my own private island or with Donald Trump playing golf, because I would be a multi-billionaire. It's all very well saying you can see in hindsight which sites won. However, you can take a broader look and say, actually, so it was social media. Facebook happens to have been the winner, but social media was always going to happen. It was always going to start having an effect. Same with online video. All of these sites are these trends are predictable. You can see the way things are going, big market trends over years, and those can be predicted. So why do companies get it so wrong? The RIAA is the Recording Institute of America, Association of America. They're like the BPI. And these are the American sales figures. Can you see where the peak is? Around 1999, 2000. That was the peak year. It was just expected that every year the record industry would get larger. It would get bigger. They would sell more. And the year 2000, what happened? Cast your minds back. Does anyone remember? Napster. Napster happened in the year 2000. Is that just a coincidence that from the year 2000, the graph just goes, pff? Could that have been predicted? I would argue yes. I was in a lot of meetings at Sony Music where they discussed the rise of digital. They discussed the 360 model where they signed additional rights in addition to the master record. And they made a lot of bad calls, in my opinion. They got their strategy wrong. Yes, piracy has obviously had a detrimental effect. On the other hand, you could see with the likes of Napster, the way people were going to start sharing content was via download and digital, not buying CDs. That, I think, was predictable. Companies are quick to adopt technologies that support their business, but they're slow to adopt to technologies that disrupt it. So they will quite happily take on technology that they think, well, this is just the way we've done things before, it just happens to be digital, as opposed to those ways that are completely new. The whole industry, since Sgt. Pepper was released, has been geared around this central premise that the album is what the industry exists to do. Albums go into a studio, they record the album, the record label releases it, the media review it, and we go out and buy it. The whole thing is geared around this one central thought. What's this? You recognize the button? What is it? Shuffle. The shuffle button. Suddenly, the idea of an album being the way that we listen to music is being completely turned around by this one idea that we like to shuffle. We shuffle our music. Let me describe the way that I listen to music, see if you agree. I have all my little playlists. I'm sure you all do as well, right? Happy playlist, sad playlist, romantic playlist. And maybe you have it all into your eras and you set all these playlists up and you add to them. When I listen to a new album, I might be working and I might listen to the tracks and I'll go, that can go in my happy playlist. That can go in my chill out playlist. That's it. Job done. I don't need the album anymore. What I've done is I've just gone through the whole album, categorized it into my playlist. The tracks in my playlist, I could play from now till the day I die. If something is going to happen in the end, you may as well do it in the beginning. Are we all going to hold on to our albums? Are we all going to do things the same way that we've always done them? Or can we see now what the future is and start adapting today? What is the future? Well, I think this is a good indication. This one figure alone is a very good indication of the way things are going, whether you're a fan of Spotify, whether you're not. The total number of streams last year was more than the total number of singles sold in 60 years. 26% of all entertainment spend is now access to content, not the content itself. If I look at my own spending on media, I don't buy CDs anymore. I don't buy DVDs. I pay for Virgin, So I get my on-demand, I get my movies on demand, I pay for Spotify, and I pay for LoveFilm. It's access to the content that I want. I'm not interested in having a whole rack of DVDs anymore. I want to access the content where and when I want it. This is a very good indication of where things are heading. 90% of all the world's data was created in the last 2 years. An incredible statistic. And it's almost mind-boggling until you look at the way that data is being created. And we all know it. WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of these companies involve the creation of new data. We're moving from an era of megabytes, gigabytes, and terabytes into, let me get this, exabytes, petabytes, and zettabytes. It's an incredibly rapid change that we're going through. People are creating content every day and in vast quantities. My kids will have the iPad, they will have the TV on, and they will be receiving messages on their iPod phone, and it's just a constant media, ding, ding, messaging, constant. 2, 3 screens, multi-screening is something that this generation just do. And when you say, Daisy, you can't possibly be watching the TV as well. Yeah, I am. Oh, God, no, you're not. As we can see with YouTube, with all of this change, with all of the changes that are going on, comes huge opportunity. That's what it's all about. That's what this talk is about. Although some people can be scratching their heads going, oh my God, you know, this, I don't get this, it's changing to... This is where the opportunities lie for people just starting out. Even for the people, we were talking to the lady who does the Argyle channel. You know, the opportunities are out there. These are just a few. Grand Theft Auto. The most successful entertainment product of all time, made in Scotland. If it was a Hollywood movie, we would all know who the directors were, we would all know the actors, it would be celebrated on the nightly news. The fact that something produced in our country was produced is the most successful of all time. On its day of release, in 24 hours, it made $800 million. Here is, if you recognize it, if it works, is it moving? Yeah. Okay. You might, it's Chelsea versus Liverpool, reenacted on FIFA 15. It got 2.2 million views, and it's a guy based in Glasgow, 20-year-old college student, 7.7 million views across his channel. He will recreate games. He will recreate Premier League games. And he has, you know, Man United versus Man City. And I was looking at the views, and it was Man City versus Man United. There were 65,000 views for the recreated game. And the thought struck me, that's more people than were actually in the ground watching the actual game. They are watching the recreation of the game on FIFA 15 that this guy has done in his bedroom. He is making money from recreating games on FIFA 15. Now, if you don't tell me there are opportunities everywhere you look after seeing something like this guy is making money recreating games that you can watch on the TV. Okay? There are opportunities everywhere. We just may not know where to look, what they are, but these people are coming up with these opportunities. One danger of change. I was watching Blade Runner the other night. I suspect we've all seen it, right? Hover cars. Robots that are so human-like, they don't even know that they're robots. Robot owls flying around. Who knows which year Blade Runner is set in? Here we go, the big reveal. November 2019. Doesn't that, for all the prediction of change, Blade Runner was released in 1984. Back then, this all seem possible by 2019? Despite what I've told you, I could be entirely wrong. There we go. Changes. If there are any other questions, if anyone's got anything, then I'm happy to answer. Thank you.